Okay. Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Such a beautiful, beautiful evening. I'm sorry if the reflection it's a little bit disturbing us to read this beautiful book. I think it's quite beautiful. The Midas touch. Maybe Midas, but I read it Midas. Old King Midas was good, and old King Midas was wise. But when the mischievous god Dionysus offers him anything his heart desires, Midas rashly wishes that everything he touched turn to gold. At first, the golden touch seems like a blessing, but Midas soon realizes he has made a horrible mistake. His food and wine turn to gold when they touch his lips. He is tortured by the ringing, tinkling sound of the golden world around him, while Dionysus takes pity on Midas and relieve him of the golden touch before he goes mad. Will Dionysus take pity on Midas and relieve him of the golden touch before he goes mad? Jan Mark's brilliant retelling and Juan Wingard's striking picture and intricate mosaic patterns breathe new life into this classic tale, perfectly capturing both the beauty and the horror of Midas' touch. So I have seen this story many times. The Midas touch. I choose this book because the picture is so good. There is another Midas touch, the same book, the same story, but another pattern, another illustration. This is just so intricate. Nowadays, people are people from head to foot. We came in all shapes, colors, and sizes, but you know where you are with people. If you look at a goat, you think, that is a goat. If you look at a tree, you think, that is a tree. If you look at a person, you think, this is a person. Things were not always so simple. Long ago, when the world was still finding its feet, there lived creatures you would never see today. Deep in the woods lived men who were half goats, and they were called satyrs. Half goat. They were men who were half horses, and they were called centaurs. Centaurs. There were girls who were half tree, and they were called hamadryads. Hamadryads. They followed the god Dionysus, and humans kept out of their way. Such creatures could be dangerous. Half horse, half goat, satyr, half tree, Hamamidias, Hamadryads. Half tree. One autumn day on the bank of a river at the edge of a vineyard, the grape pickers found a strange creature asleep in the reeds. They saw a human hand. It's a man, they say. They saw a hairy tail and hooves. It's a horse, they say. Take care, said one. It may be a centaur. It is asleep, said another. Tie it up before it awakes and harms us all. So they fetched a stout rope and tied up the creature and ran away. It has a human body and something very strange, so they tied this creature. Soon after this, in the autumn sunshine, along came Midas, good King Midas, who owned the vineyard and the field and the woods all around. He saw the poor creature tied up in the reeds and said to himself, horse or man or centaur, this is an old creature and fat and harmless and probably drunk as well. This is no way to treat him. And he untied the rope. How can we treat an old fat creature like this? That is not right. So he untied the rope. Just at that moment, out of the vineyard stepped a young man dressed in a panther's skin, with wine leaf in his hair. He said to Midas, that's no centaur. It's my old friend and teacher, Silenus, who has taken a drop too much and is sleeping it off. Silenus is a little bit drunk. Now Midas, though mortal himself, was the son of a goddess, and he knew a god when he saw one. He could judge if someone is a god or not. So he bowed low when the young man said, I am Dionysus, and for all your kindness to this foolish old person, I will give you a reward. You have only to name it. Midas was good, and Midas was wise. But the gods can drive a man mad if they have a mind to do it. Ooh, if the gods have a mind to do something, it can drive a man mad. Midas asked for something that he did not need and had not wanted until that mad moment. So he asked something that he actually did not need. He said to Dionysus, "Let everything that I touch be turned to gold. I want gold. I want everything I touch to become gold. I want to have as many as possible gold." Dionysus smiled, a terrible smile. Look at his smile. He smiled a terrible smile. He did not say everything. He did not say, "Are you sure?" He did not say, "Think about it." He only said, "My pleasure." And he meant it. Dionysus agreed that everything Midas touched will become gold. In the morning, said Dionysus, when you awake, the golden touch shall be yours. Everything that you touch will be turned to gold. Everything you touch. This book will be gold. This piece of toilet paper will be gold. This iPhone charger will be gold. And this piece of my painting will be gold. Everything touched will be gold. Then Midas bowed again, and when he looked up, Dionysus had gone, taking drunken old Silenos with him. Oh, Dionysus has gone. He's gone. He went away with the centaur, or with the half man, half horse. Midas walked home through the vineyard, touching the grapes with his finger and thinking, tomorrow, everything that I touch with this finger will turn to gold. Gold finger, gold finger. And Dionysus, far away in the wood, knew of that thought and smiled his terrible smile and whispered, "But who said anything about your finger?" Did you say it yourself? Ha ha ha. Who said that? So Midas the wise old good King Midas. Next day, when the sun rose, Midas awoke in his bed and saw that the sheets where he lay had turned to clothes of gold. Oh. Then he leaped out of bed and ran about the room. He touched the table, he touched the chairs, he touched the curtains, he touched the walls, and everything upon which he laid his finger became gold. The chairs became gold, table became gold, curtains became gold, walls became gold, everything. He did not notice that the floor had turned to gold where his bare feet touched it. Not only his finger, but also his feet. That is strange. Then he put on his clothes, which turned to clothes of gold, as he lifted them and went to eat his breakfast. So he wear his clothes is gold, he went to eat breakfast. Oh, that will be interesting. Let's see what his breakfast will taste like. There on the table before him lay a plate of baked fish, a basket of new hot loaves, and flacon of wine with a goblet to drink from. But before he began to eat, he touched the basket, the plate, the flacon, and the goblet, and all of them, all of them turned to gold because he touched them. Then he lifted his fork and knife. He lifted his knife to cut the bread, and then he touched the bread. The knife would not cut. The reason? The soft, hot bread was hard and yellow. Fool, said Midas to himself, the knife is gold, and so is the bread. Where I touched them, I must take more care. So he picked up a spoon which turned to gold, and lifted a fish from the plate. He put it into his mouth and bit it, and felt cold, hard metal between his teeth. Why? Because it's not fish, it's gold. The fish turned to gold, so it's cold, it's hard, it's metal. I need to drink some tea. The tea is gold. Oh my goodness, look at this gold tea, because my finger touched it.所有的东西都变成金子了。他说呀，就有一点像以前那个俄罗斯小金鱼的故事。有一个穷人打掉一条鱼，救了一条鱼，然后那个小金鱼说：“你有什么愿望？”他说：“我要想什么东西都变成金子。”这个国王 Midas 就是 摸到什么东西都变成金子了，面包变成金子，刀叉变成金子，待会儿那个酒也要变成金子，他没法喝，没法吃了。Then he poured red wine from the golden flagon and put the golden goblet to his mouth, and when he tasted the red wine, it became molten gold as it touched his lips. Oh my goodness. Molten gold. He leaned forward to pick up crumbs from the table, but they turned to gold as his tongue touched them. A fly that settled on his arm dropped dead and golden onto the table. And the ears of the king were filled with a glittering, tingling sound as he motes in the air touch his skin, as the motes in the air touch his skin and fell as gold dust to the golden floor. Truly, he had a golden touch. Oh my gosh. He hears a tingling, dingling, jiggling, ring. Everything turned into gold. Poor King Midas. I'm sorry. Tous en or. Tous d'or. Oh, tous en or. Tous. Ok. J'essaie pas parler français parce qu'il y a des conjugaisons que je suis pas très sûre. Mais je vais essayer. Everything that King Midas touched or that touched him was turned to gold, and in a few days he would be dead of starvation in the midst of the greatest fortune man had ever seen. Even the earth would turn to gold where he lay buried. Oh my. Oh la la. Then he beat his head and tore his hair and ran howling through the palace and across the garden into the vineyard, and everything that he touched fell lifeless behind him. The grass turned to gold beneath his feet. The bunches of grape that had hung plump and purple yesterday chimed like bells, and above all ran the maddening tinkle of falling golden dust. All the grapes turned into gold. Everything turned into gold. Smile, the terrible smile. Then the king heard another sound through the ringing and jingling and chiming. Someone was laughing. Midas stopped still, and there before him stood the young man in the panther skin, with the wine leaf around his head, smiling his terrible smile. Well, 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 Midas, said Dionysus, and how do you like the golden touch? Midas fell on his face before the god and screamed, "Take it away, take it away, take it away, I cannot bear it." Dionysus said, "But Midas, I give you exactly what you wished for. I didn't give you any more, any less. Exactly what you wanted." Midas looked up at the god, and he looked at the smile, and he said, "I was mad to wish for it. I beg you, I beg you, I beg you to take it away. I was mad. I was not right. I knew that is wrong." Then Dionysus remembered that he had meant to reward Midas for his kindness to old Silenus. So he said, "Very well, go to the river Pactolus and dive in, and the gold touch shall be washed away. The spell will be no longer in effect." So Midas fled among the vines, and with the ringing and jingling and chiming, making choral music, with the laughter of Dionysus, enjoying his little joke. When he came to river Pactolus, when he came to the river Pactolus, Midas jumped in, and the weight of his gold garment made him sink like a stone. His clothes was too heavy. But as he touched the river bed, and the water closed over his head, he opened his eyes and saw his golden robe turned white and soft and light as linen. He drifted to the surface, leaving the golden touch behind. Ooh. He touched the riverbed, and he was completely immersed into the river. And when he opened his eyes, he found the golden robe disappeared. On his body is the soft, white robe that he used to wear. He ran home, drenched, through the vineyard, plucking grapes from the vines and eating them as he went, and all he heard was the song of the birds and the wind in the trees. But the sands of the river Pactolus were golden forever more. Oh, this is why the riverbed is golden, filled with gold. The end. It turned to gold.